the NFL draft, Roto World has Dak Prescott as high as the third-ranked quarterback. Dak is coming off his best year by far of his career, and the Cowboys did just add receiver CeeDee Lamb through the draft. And, you know, Skip and I, big CeeDee Lamb fans. But, Shannon, do you agree with Dak as being ranked third?
No, even if you use fantasy stats, Skip, Dak does not run the football as much as you think. And you've complained about this, that you think he should use his legs a lot more. He averaged about 3 carries a game and only had 3 rush touchdowns last year. Now, obviously, Lamar Jackson, although I don't believe he'll have the exceptional year, I could be wrong that he had last year, Skip, but I still believe he'll be somewhere between 850 and maybe 1,000 yards, probably 5 to 7 touchdowns. He's probably going to throw for another 3,000 yards and probably another 25 to 30 touchdowns. So he's a fantasy dream. Patrick Mahomes, Skip, obviously he doesn't run. He doesn't have Lamar Jackson's legs, but he's going to throw, and he's going to throw some more, and he's going to throw some more. So he's going to have the gaudy passing numbers as far as yards and touchdowns. I thought Deshaun Watson, who also has great legs, who, gets a couple of touchdowns rushing the football, and he's going to throw. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see, now that he's lost D-Hop, how many, what's his passing numbers going to look like. I like Russell Wilson, Skip, but Russell doesn't run the ball as far as getting the ball in the end zone nearly as much as people would think he is, as being as mobile as he is. But, Skip, in no metric, if you want to say these are fantasy stats, and I understand they've added CeeDee Lamb, the offensive line comes back minus Travis Frederick, but in no circumstances Dak your top 3 quarterback. I mean, I like it. The brothers, we doing good up here, Skip. Lamar should be in front of him. Mahomes should be number 1. But if it's fantasy, I got Lamar 1. Mahomes, then you take Deshaun, then you take Russell. I might throw Dak in there. Kyler, Skip, can be somewhere around 500-600 yards. And if now with DeAndre Hopkins and now with Larry Fitzgerald, although Fitz is not the same guy, Skip, he's going to have really good fantasy numbers. But I think 3, even if you're doing fantasy, even if you're doing a real, okay, is he the third best quarterback? I still believe Dak is too high to be third on this list.
Thank you for your honesty. I wanted to hold your feet to the fire here and make sure that you would say, oh, there's no way he's third on this list. And I also wanted to point out that Roto World, a fantasy website, obviously, its explanation for having Dak so high is an embarrassment of riches have made him too big to fail. So Roto World is saying Dak has so many weapons that he can't not be below third, that he's got to be up to third. And what did we talk about yesterday? In MVP odds, he's as high as third at Caesar's Palace. He's 4th in Fox Bet, but as high as third in MVP odds. Well, neither of us think he's a top 5 quarterback. So why is that? It's offensive line, it's Amari Cooper, it's Michael Gallup, it's Ezekiel Elliott, and I think it's mostly CD fever, as I call it. CeeDee Lamb fell out of heaven from 6th on their draft board all the way into their laps at 17, and I told you the next day, this is going to change life in Dallas. And now it's changing life on all the websites and in all the sports books, because they're all saying, wait a second, Dak Prescott has the kind of weapons that could make him an MVP candidate, 9-1 highest or best odds at Caesars, and could make him a fantasy dream. Well, okay, I'll give you that. But if Shannon Sharp and I are trying to just rank him, I told you I got him ranked 10th among quarterbacks. Some people would say that's absurd. Shannon Sharp has repeatedly told me he's in the middle. He's somewhere in the middle. He's 15, 16, 17. It's hard. There are a lot of really good quarterbacks. As you just pointed out, I'll give you Mahomes first just because he won the Super Bowl. I think Tom Brady is still second best. We're about to see that. Just a little bit over Lamar third, and then you can start to fight with Breeze and Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun and Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger, and Phillip Rivers is still a factor, and Kyler Murray's becoming a factor, And there's still Kirk Cousins, who played a little better than I thought he could. And Baker Mayfield is still somewhere in there. Great start, not so great second year. It's a lot of competition. And yet, my point to you here is, you keep pushing for Dak Prescott to get beyond Patrick Mahomes' money from Jerry Jones. And yet we're both saying, okay, we get the fantasy rank and we get the MVP rank because he's got such great weapons around him, embarrassment of riches, but neither of us think that he's top 5, so how can he deserve top money from Jerry Jones? That's all I'm saying to you is, it's hypocritical for anybody to say, come on, pay him, Jerry. Pay him $40+ million a year for only 4 years. Give him $150 million guaranteed, unless you believe that he's a top 2 or 3 quarterback, and nobody believes that.
So now we base it. So now everybody should get paid based on their worth. When everybody else prior to that got paid on being up and getting top dollar because they, at that time, Tyron Smith, was he the best left tackle when he got paid? Joe Thomas was.
Yeah, you can
but
make
they
that
paid
case.
him more than Joe Thomas.
Yes, you could.
Okay, then. But they paid him more than Joe Thomas. They wouldn't make no case.
Okay.
But they paid him more than Joe Thomas.
I'm fine with that.
Now all of a sudden, DeMarcus Lawrence, was he the best DN in football? But Jerry made him the highest paid.
No.
Now all of a sudden,
overpaid.
You need to be you need to be the best play. You need to be the best at that position in order to be the highest paid. That's the way we doing it now, huh? No, we just started doing that with Dak Prescott. No, Skip, don't do that. It's never been based. Pay has never been based on whether or not the guy was the best at a said position. If he was up, he's the last guy to get the contract, he got paid more. That's the way it's been. Now Jerry wants to rewrite history, along with you want to rewrite history. Well, Dak isn't that good. Second of all, Patrick Mahomes has 2 more years left on his contract this year and the team's 5th-year option. The same for Deshaun Watson. Dak Prescott is up. He's playing contract out, Skip.
Okay, so what do you want him to do? Do you want him to say, okay, I'll give you $42 million a year for 4 years?
Dak Prescott, Skip, if you look, do what the Vikings did for First Cousins. Fully guarantee the first 3 years of the contract at about 90 to 100 million, and then you can make up the last 2 years or whatever you want. So if you wanted to be 175 million over 5 years, guarantee the first 3 years at 100 million, and I guarantee you Dak Prescott. Fully guarantee it. I ain't talking about no guarantee.
Shannon,
I said fully guarantee it.
I'm pretty sure the offer on the table is 110 million guaranteed. I'm pretty sure it's 36 million a year for 5.
See, you see what you're doing, Skip? I'm
not doing anything.
See, if you I've been watching these press conferences with like the CDC. The CDC says if you symptomatic, you can get a test. President Trump is saying everybody can get a test. Now, you see the difference? You saying guaranteed, I said fully guaranteed. See, you try to be slick. They got 110 million guaranteed. That's not what I said. I said fully guaranteed. Then even though that little minute detail, I don't believe it is. There's no way. No way Dak Prescott is
guaranteed.
No way. No way Dak Prescott is turning down the first 3 years of a contract, 110 million fully guaranteed. Because, Skip, if he's doing that, that's almost that's 37 million. I know he's not doing that, but it was a nice try on your part.
No,
anybody that needs a test can get a test. No, anybody that needs a test can get a test. Anybody that wants a test can get a test. You see, need versus want, guaranteed versus fully guaranteed. 2 different things, Skip Bayless. You think you're slick. You think you're slick, but you can't be slick to a can of oil. I know it. I know you're not. I'm slicker than slick.
The slick right now belongs to the new agent for Dak Prescott, Todd France, who's trying to get the biggest deal in history even after Patrick Mahomes signs his new deal. He wants money that is outrageously out of bounds so he can say, look what I did. You want to sign with me? You want to sign with me? Come on. And he somehow has Dak Prescott believing we're going to hold that line. We're going to hold out through training camp, preseason games, maybe even some regular season games, because Jerry Jones has a reputation for caving in and overpaying. But this is the quarterback we're talking about, and this money is twice as much as DeMarcus Lawrence and twice as much as Amari Cooper, who both way overpaid.
Well, you told me the quarterback is twice as important.
All right.
That's what you told me.
All right. Shannon just seems working for that agent of Dak's. This is interesting, guys. Is James Harden the least like NBA star among his peers? We discuss the latest next.